Welcome back to the Daily Grind, everyone. So I just want to do a quick little rundown of everything that's going on in the garden. I did take a week off because of Thanksgiving. Of course, I'll be making more in-depth videos of everything that I'm doing here, but I want to bring you guys along. So let me turn this camera around and I'll take you through the garden. Well, we are into the winter for sure here. The temperatures have dropped. And we're getting like the 50 degrees almost every single day, maybe 60, and then at night it can drop down to low 50s, high 40s. So it's been chilly. So the entire winter garden is in full swing here. So let me go over everything. Right here in these beds that I tilled out and then did cover crops, if you guys remember. Each one of these now, besides that one still has cover crop. All these are kind of getting ready to plant or already have planted. This one I'm getting ready. So this here I've got onion, and all along the outside you can see the onion growing really well. In fact, they're getting pretty good size. I'm seeing a little bit of bulb growth here, but it won't be until early next year or mid early summer next year for these to be harvested. They will still grow quite a bit. I got quite a few. Some of these didn't pop up, like for some reason this row I only got one. I'm supposed to have them all along that row. This whole section did really well. It might just depend on the variety, because I had multiple different varieties I was growing and what came up. But right here, nothing popped up except for one. This whole row I didn't, but I did plant enough seed, if they all had popped up, to be right around, I think it was like 190 plants, 190 or so onion plants. So that's quite a few. Of course, not all of them did pop up. This whole row, I've got basically two rows. I did square foot gardening, and so there's 4 per square foot. Right along here, I did that all the way along, but not all of them popped up, like I said. So I've got quite a few along this row, a couple holes, and that's okay. But most of them doing really well. A couple holes here. Looks like I had an animal come through and step through a lot of my brand new seedlings, and so that probably killed off a couple. But then these all popped up pretty well along this row. Now this one, the inside row popped up really well. We've got almost every single one coming up, but this outside, so there's, basically 2 rows, 4 per square foot, right? There should be 2 here, not just there. These did not along this, except for a couple. And I think what happened is this kind of eroded a little bit, came down. And so when I planted the seed, maybe it got washed away when I was watering it. That could be. And then in the center, I've got lettuce. So growing lettuce and spinach right here, and that's in the center. So basically that lettuce and spinach is being surrounded by onion, which is going to help kind of keep the pest away a little bit. So I'm progressively planting here, succession planting. So this was one planting right here, and then you can see how small these are. That's another set of planting until this little marker. These are just now popping up. We've got a couple little seedlings popping up. They're just starting. The spinach came up really quick, but the lettuce is a little slower. And then of course my final planting will be along here. I've got a few weeds I've got to pull up though, but that will be from here to here, which I should do soon. But that's quite a few as well. I think there's 120 lettuce plants I can get in here. Not all of them came up, so maybe not all of them, but it's doing well. This I've still got covered. This was the black-eyed pea, or the southern pea. Actually, I think this one was the Texas cream pea, by the same family. And that was along here. And I had this cut down, and now it's covered. I'm letting this deteriorate underneath and kind of killing off any weeds or whatever. Here, this is quite amazing. I've got so many plants. I've got 300 from right here to here, just that little section right there. I think right around, it might be 200, I'm sorry, 200 carrot plants. At least if all of them came up. Maybe not all of them did, but you can see they are quite a few coming up. I've got to thin out a couple of these, like right here where I dropped too many seed, but they're coming up really well. I've got a couple true leaves started, but they just recently came up, and these are doing really well. This is 3 feet of Napa cabbage, and then I've got 1 foot of the little mini bok choy, because I really like those and they grow really well in my area, and they're coming up really well. Of course, I've got a couple holes still, but there was quite a few that I was able to get in there. I will have to thin that out quite a bit. And then of course I've got lettuce up until here, which this row, I don't know, maybe that seed went bad, but this lettuce section did pretty good. And again, square foot gardening, so I'm planting, you know, per square foot basically is how I'm growing this. So I put that little square foot seeding tray thing down, and then I poke the holes where I need it and drop the seed. So each one of these is different planting, you know, and how much. This is beets, so I've got 2 rows of beets. This is the red beet. This is the, I never can pronounce this, guys, but chigagia or something like that beet. And then this is all spinach. Okay, so that's quite a bit, by the way. So I've got probably about 400 plants all through here in one row. It's amazing. And then over here I've got the wheat, which is really weird that it's already seeding. You can, let me bring you guys over, you can see, but already getting some seeds popping up. It's already starting with the wheat. So I don't know what that's about. It's way early than I thought, or way earlier than I thought. By the way, it did rain, so you can see it's all wet. It did rain just recently. But all this has been doing so well for me that I decided I was going to actually add to this and add a few more rows, because this gives me so much planting area. So over here, I'm going to put another row. So I'll put a little spacer in between, a walkway right here. And then there'll be another row, and you can see where I've got the line put. So that'll be another row right here. They're 48-inch rows. That's what I've got for each one of these. 20 by 48. Also, these are supposed to be 20 foot, but when I did it, I didn't go far enough. I only went to 18 feet. So I am taking another little bit, and I'm going to till out each one of these to make them a full 20 rather than 18. So I'm tilling along here, but the real job, guys, because the tilling is easy. I mean, it's not easy. It's really difficult actually, but it's easy compared to the fact that I have stumps in the ground that I got to remove. And I thought this one would be easier than this one, but once I started digging this up, I realized this is a sideways stump. It is just huge, and so this is going to be a real pain in the butt. I've already dug probably a foot down, and it's nowhere near enough, so I got to continue digging. And so what I've been doing is I've been digging, which I did over here, same thing. I'll dig as far as I can kind of get it with the shovel, and then even my little kind of tiller thing that I scrape up the dirt, pull out more. You can see all the rock in here, and this is everywhere. There's rocks up there. Over in that wheelbarrow right there, I've got it almost full with rocks just coming from this section, a little bit of tilling over there. So, but I've been pulling up the dirt. It is mostly heavy clay, so it's hard to till. And then I'll take a hose and spray it off and kind of try to get that dirt up around the roots and everything sprayed down. And once I get this dug deep enough, I can come through with my chainsaw and cut this out. But this is hard, guys. It's not easy. So this is going to be a couple months actually until I kind of get this done, because I can only dig so much in a day. And then once I dig it, I hose it down, and I gotta wait a day for this to kind of drain and not be muddy. Because it is clay, it takes a while to drain. And since we just had rain, it's gonna actually be like 2 or 3 days. But I did that here, and I was able to dig it pretty deep, maybe about 2 feet down, and then cut it off. And then I built a fire around it. That's why it's all charred. But I built that fire, kind of charred it, so that way it kills off the stump fully. It didn't burn the stump necessarily, because it wasn't a big enough fire, but I think it definitely killed it off. At least help to kill it off. And once I fill this backfill it, I think it'll kind of rot under there. It shouldn't shoot back up, hopefully, at least. That's the plan. But that's the next one. And once I'm done with that, I mean, I should be able to fill it back up with this dirt, and then I'm gonna re-till one more time all along here. This will be 2 more beds. So I'm adding a total of 3, but I'll be able to till one more time here and over on that section, pull out even a couple more rocks, and then do what I did here, which is throw a bunch of compost on top. And then I'm gonna cover it and let it sit for a couple months and kill off any of the weeds. So that's the plan. It's a big job, but you know, it's worth it because these are some great growing beds here, and I'm able to get a lot of veggies. In fact, I could probably, once I get all 3 more of these, that'll be a total of 7 beds. I might be able to just here be able to completely feed my family with only stuff that we grow, at least with veggies, by canning and doing stuff, saving stuff. But I mean, it's not that hard to make black-eyed peas. I mean, they grow really well here. So I can grow a whole bunch in the summer. We can can up the black-eyed peas, and then of course, then there's soups in the winter that we can use that for. You know, and then of course I can grow corn. I can grow, you know, a whole bunch of stuff that of course I can then can up or preserve or freeze. A bunch of carrots and whatnot. I mean, one of these beds filled with carrots would be enough for us to eat the entire year. I don't think we can eat that many carrots. So it's quite amazing how much you can grow in a small little area. So that's why I'm tilling this up even more. So next year, by the end of next year, this should be fully ready and able to support some good veggies. So by 2026, we should be mostly self-sufficient here, which is amazing on a tiny little plot in a community. Here, this is going to be going away pretty soon, but these are peas, and they're Lincoln peas, and they're growing some pods. Not all of them are filling up yet, but you can see they're starting to thicken up a little bit. Most of them are pretty thin. Oh, there's a good one. That one's small though, but that's a shelling pea. Okay, and I've got bok choy here that I just recently planted. Over here are the carrots, which will be ready very soon. In fact, you can see how well these are growing, and they're starting to get some shoulders down in there. So probably in another 2 weeks, I'll be able to harvest those. This variety here is a little mini ball carrots. You can see that right there. It's they're pretty much ready. So probably in the next couple days, I'll be harvesting that. These are peas. So behind it, I'm doing peas. That's kind of what I was doing this year, is just a row of peas at each bed, and then kind of some other veggies up front that grow well with peas. And this is a sugar snap pea, I believe, or no, snow pea. This is a snow pea. Over here are my cabbage that I planted earlier. Of course, I've got cabbage in other places, but these are the Napa cabbages, kind of like I have over in the beds over there. And they're growing really well. Like I said, they do grow extremely well here. You can see the heads starting to form, and they form really dense heads. I had quite a bit of these in here, but of course, you know, periodically I had to thin them out until there's enough space here for them all. And then of course here is the bok choy. These are the larger size bok choy. So I've got mini bok choy, which I really like. They're great for stews. The larger ones, you know, they're great for like stir fry because they got bigger leaves. You can see the big stems on them, but they're really good too. I like them a lot, both of these, and they both grow really well. For some reason, better than most varieties. It's just the Chinese type cabbage seems to grow better here. They don't get bothered by pests as much. And then here are some more peas. So these are the same. They're the snow peas, same as over there. Okay, but these haven't started forming flowers. Those have. All right, over here I've got some onion mixed with some green veggies. So this is arugula. That was the first to pop up. It's growing really well. I've got, I think, cilantro. And over here, these ones are the parsley. Here it's hard to see. You can kind of see the reddish, but that's red colored lettuce. So those came up. More onion here. So it's a mixture of lettuce and onion and green veggies. So those are doing really good. And then, excuse the mess, guys. I don't really clean up. I'm so busy. Here, I've got a mixture of, this side's carrots, and this side is like cabbage and turnip. Okay, so here I've got bok choy, the baby bok choy. Really like this stuff. It's growing everywhere. I put it everywhere. The baby ones, they're really small. I've already harvested them all from that other bed back there. So I can't show you because they're only 30 days to harvest. So I recently planted this side, probably, I think it was last week, and they're coming up now pretty good. Here's the purple top turnip. Here is a French breakfast radish, and then starburst radish. Okay, so the radishes and bok choy. And then here's the carrots, and they're finally starting to come up. Carrots always take so long. But you can see we've got a couple little sprouts coming up. They're all around, but they start small. And of course they will grow much bigger pretty soon, but they're finally coming up. And here I've got 300. This is where I've got 300 carrots, roughly. So that's quite a bit. In just one little section. Really, if I cover this whole bed, same thing over there, probably be enough for me to be able to grow enough carrots to eat all year. I don't think we can go through it all. So we'll chop them up. Either we'll can them or we'll chop them up and freeze them. Be able to kind of use them all year. So I've got quite a bit of carrots growing. And of course, I'm succession planting. So I've got different sections with, you know, different amounts of carrots at different times that I planted the carrots. So it allows me to harvest some, eat some, and then, you know, periodically I can have fresh carrots as time goes. Of course, I've got some lettuce growing and some carrots growing in some pots here. It's always a easy way to kind of add a little bit more. These I planted much earlier than most of the lettuce in my beds, and so they're almost ready to harvest. They're getting bigger. I'm not as particular on where I plant it. I just throw the seeds in, so they're kind of over compacted, but you know, it's still some greens that I can harvest and eat, so I'm less worried about that. These I believe are little ball carrots, and these should be ready pretty soon. In fact, they probably are. Oh no, they're not yet. So they're not the ball carrots. These are longer, thinner ones. They're the tender sweet, I guess. But still, you know, probably in another couple weeks they'll be ready. All right, well, there we go, guys. There is kind of what I've got going on here in the homestead and what I'm growing. By the way, the peach trees are still doing pretty good. I've got to come through and kind of trim them up for winter, get them ready. This is about the time that I should actually trim off any of the branches that aren't doing well, and then trim it up for next year to kind of encourage that the new growth. That'll be what grows some peaches. But anyway, as you can see, I've got a lot going on here. It is winter, and this is actually my favorite time to grow veggies. There's a lot of veggies that just grow really well here. We don't have as much heat, so it's a lot easier to be out here and working. I wouldn't be digging like I'm doing here in the summer. We get 100, 110 degrees sometimes, but it's 100 every single day in the summer, at least. So it's too much. And so it's tough for me. It's also tough for all the plants. So even the normal summer veggies, you know, by the end of June, they're getting burnt by the sun. I mean, tomatoes, peppers just cannot handle it, and neither can I. So this is my favorite time to grow. And you know, a lot of this stuff is some of my favorite veggies to grow. I love growing carrots. I love growing cabbage. It's stuff that I eat a lot of. My family eats a lot of. I do a lot of cabbage soups, and we do, you know, put a lot of carrots in our soups. We do a lot of soups in the winter, a lot of stews, and they're just easy to eat that way. I also make my own sauerkraut with the cabbage, so you know, just a lot of stuff that we do with these winter veggies. Hopefully this summer will be really good, be able to grow some corn here if I can hit the timing right. I really appreciate you guys coming along and watching. Like I said, it's been a couple weeks since I've made a video. It just took some time off with Thanksgiving and everything, spending time with family, but now I'm gonna come back full swing. I've got a couple videos that I'm working on right now that should come out on kind of like how I'm doing, you know, specific things, okay? So keep an eye on that and keep watching. Anyway, hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you will have a wonderful Christmas. God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Now you guys try to escape the daily grind.